Welcome to Art, where I have an in-depth conversation with an artist. Art to Art. My name is Claire Svenström, and I'm here with wonderful artists, creative genius, entrepreneur, Jonathan Honedo. Jonathan, welcome. It's so wonderful to see you.
I'm so happy to be here.
Thank you.
Thanks for your introduction.
Now, Jonathan, you have an exciting project.
Oh, yes, I do. I gave you that book.
I devoured it.
Great. I didn't write it, but hopefully it informs a lot of what I'm doing because somebody else wrote a lot of material that...
But that's what is so wonderful about you, that you sort of take things that aren't yours.
Right.
And you make them yours.
I make them my own.
Yeah, you make it your own.
As though they weren't anybody else's before.
Yeah, you just completely erase it.
Exactly.
It's like, that didn't matter.
Because I'm to it.
I'm taking it now.
It's mine.
And it's so potent.
Right. I'm glad you understand.
Oh, it's so powerful to me. And so is your latest collection of work.
Oh, you like it?
I love it. Could you tell our audience a little bit about Adult Contemporary?
Adult Contemporary is a group of 11 self-portraits.
Oh, wonderful.
Right. I spent all of last year growing my hair out for the project, and I bought a nice coat for it. And it's a tax-deductible coat because I only used it for the project. It was an artistic choice.
See, you make all those details.
Right.
I love how you live this work.
I mean, that's a lot of detail that you wouldn't know unless you asked me. And that's why we're having this interview now, to enlighten the work and get deeper about it and flesh out a lot of the real meat of...
But you can see it.
Meat.
But you can see it. Well, your meat is so visible. Your meat is so visible in these portraits. And the coat, I know you're saying that there's so much story. Like, you can tell this is a person who's allowed their hair to get this way.
Right.
This doesn't...
Every day I woke up with my hair a little bit longer, and so I figure even just sleeping was a creative act. This
subtlety in which you reflected this lived experience, your life became the art. The portraits are sort of evidence more of this sort of process that you went through, this self-reflective process.
Right.
It's so striking, and it's just the fecundity of each of these works. It just breathes. They're almost too powerful to look at sometimes.
That's why I only made 11 of them.
I think I could have handled 12, honestly. So tell us a little bit. Now, you've compiled them together.
Right.
Is there a way you want us to move through these processes, move through
looking at them?
Exactly.
I want them to be in a safe place where they are
Yes. I felt that.
And if, a lot of the paintings are very powerful emotionally.
So much. I teared up. I had to go into my panic room to see the rest of them.
Right. That's probably a wise choice. And you're very lucky to have one of those, actually. Not everybody does.
I know. I thought it was a must. I got rid of the extra bathroom and I said, I need a panic room.
So you have another bathroom?
Yes, it's a half bath. Yes.
So there was always an extra bathroom?
Of course. I thought I needed two, but it turns out I only needed one toilet.
Maybe you need an extra panic room.
Not a bad idea.
Yeah.
I used my panic room more than I do my restroom.
Right. What if the first one fails?
I love how you think. This is the kind of mind we're working with, folks. Again, if you're just joining us, this is Jonathan Honedo, a wonderful artist who's talking about his current work, Adult Contemporary.
Maybe I would put them in the magazine rack in the bathroom. That's probably an acceptable place too.
If people are seated already.
Yes.
I insist everyone who comes to my restroom sit.
So people that come to the gallery exhibition...
I was going to ask that because these portraits included in the album are facsimiles of the paintings that you have exhibited right now at Elephant Art Space.
Right.
And now
Excuse me.
I just felt like another work of art was created.
Something was created, for sure.
You take those moments and they're so unexpected. Just like your work.
I live in the moment, and I don't apologize for it.
No.
You might say, excuse me, but I'm not sorry.
Words have no meaning. It's what I love about you. What you say and what you do and how you do it. It's genius.
Not too many people understand, and that's why I come on this show.
Well, I'm so glad to have you here. So when people walk into this gallery, how do you prepare them for that?
You just have your own isolated moment. I figure if you're brave enough to come to the show,
yes,
then you're strong enough to stand up for it and not be knocked out, blown away in a too dangerous environment. So,
and what's so important is that I think your work cannot exist in sort of a group show setting.
No, I don't do group shows.
No, it would be so unfair.
Yeah.
no one would
just wouldn't come across in the way that it needs to.
No one would pay attention to the other artists because it's commands. There's when you walk in and your eyes just all over. You could feel it. It's a palpable sort of.
It's all about feeling.
It's like you're being looked at. You're being stripped away as a human being.
It's a very visceral, sensual.
So sensual, so visceral
experience.
How do you translate that? That's what I would like. There's so many artists who attempt, I'd say, to do portraiture.
Yeah.
And how do you really capture that? Those layers.
It's I want to say skill and technique, but it's a transcending of skill and technique.
I believe it. Yeah, I could see that.
It's where technique, you abandon technique with
just
technique.
Get it. I see
and
that.
You
Yes.
just wing it.
Yes.
You just fly. You let the mistakes grow, and you use time, and you don't fuss, and you just allow the process to take over and not think about it really.
But how do you get past the ego? You know, the artist and the ego is such a complicated relationship. But to get past that, how do you do that?
Well, it was a little bit of a cheat because I found that while doing the self-portraits and spending a lot of time staring at myself,
yes,
the opposite occurs. Like, so I'm not really self-involved. I'm disappearing. I'm actually desensitized to myself and allowing another kind of self, a non-self-conscious self, come through.
It's like a spiritual growth.
It's a spiritual thing
that you're documenting.
It's like I'm channeling my other self, my real self.
And what's so remarkable is you know that you're in the same coat.
Yes.
And for the most
for tax purposes, I only use it for that project.
And it's smart in every level,
too. Yeah.
Every wonderful level. And I've seen the receipt. It's true. And yet you could see this tremendous growth happen in these portraits that seem like they're the same, but they're not. Right. Every moment sounds like a different infinity.
Every painting is a different painting. Every Jonathan really is a different Jonathan.
So different.
And every expression is a different painting and technique and process, and they're all unique things.
And now,
but it's the same jacket.
Wonderful. I feel it grounds you. You know, it helps. It helps because you could be so. You need something to hold on to because your eyes and the coloration, it transcends you. And if there wasn't that jacket there to hold on to,
something recognizable. And also easier for me to paint with all these colors that I got into because there's a green me, there's a blue me,
so many colors,
a red me, and
there's a rosé you actually.
Rosé me. Yeah.
Tell us about the No Way Rosé.
Oh, did you have some? Did you get that crate that I sent you?
I loved it. I actually just was so tickled. I had half the bottles already.
Brilliant.
They're just, it's so beautiful, so wonderful.
It's a nice dry.
And it's almost as if somehow the power that we've talked about in your portraiture was imbued into the essence.
Well, I bring
the
same passion to my other endeavors as I do with the paintings. It's the same energy.
Wonderful. Well, as you said, your life is your art.
That's exactly true.
Your process is your art, so you can't help it. Now, how does someone come? I mean, I was lucky enough to have, known you enough to have this gifted to me, but how does someone purchase a No Way Rosé?
Well, it's a little tricky thing because I don't have a liquor license.
I see, but it's art.
It is art, so there's a gray area. So I've made a sculpture with these.
I see.
So it comes in a 6-pack of rosés, and they are on a pedestal that I painted the same paint as my exhibition, and there's alcohol in it, but you're buying the whole thing. You're not buying a drink. You're not buying booze. It's
you're buying the experience.
Yeah.
And that's why I really did think when I was drinking this wine, I thought to myself, I'm not here to numb my senses, to forget about the day. I'm here to really experience the art.
Experience the art and experience your senses. Sense your senses.
It really did have the opposite effect of usually why I drink, just to numb out all the chatter.
Right. That's one of the benefits of rosé.
Oh,
rosé in particular.
And I would have never thought that you could have done so much to make that rosé just come alive in so many different other ways. It's sort of just almost like aging it, in oak or something. It was just so amazing. Now, you're also offering, what I think is wonderful is that you really are thinking about the people viewing your work. So you have the exhibition, the Elephant Art Space, but you're offering the album for people at more of a reasonable price. I think a little too reasonable, honestly, Jonathan. And you also have a single as well that people can purchase. Can you tell us a little bit about the single, what they can expect from that, and why?
I feel like I've been talking about this a lot lately. Well, I'm doing the circuit, as you know.
I can imagine, and I can't imagine how boring it must be for you. But just so you know,
I mean, I enjoy talking about my work, but
I think everyone's just hanging on your every word.
Okay, well, let's see if I can give you something.
Yes, please. Any new thoughts or ideas you had?
Well, the new single, the first single for the album is called ASB, and ASB is a reference to the idea of like an A side and a B side, similar to like a record. But you're a sophisticated audience, you know what I'm talking about. And also, ASB is a logical riddle.
Yes.
That a German philosopher in the early 20th century was inquiring about whether two signs can mean the same thing, two different signs, two different symbols. So I wanted to lean on those kind of connotations and think about that. And,
wonderful.
Names in reference in relation to portraiture and identity, and Jonathan Tornado as a name with that occupies space and time as well as paintings.
Oh my God! Well, that I have to say was one of the most fascinating sentences. That's going to take me months to unpack.
And was that a run-on sentence?
No, it ran in every direction that it needed to. It was wonderful, and I think I'm going to let that be the final thought that our audience hears from you. If you're interested, which you should be, to see these portraits in person, please go to Elephant Art Space in Los Angeles. You can also purchase the albums. Jonathan, is there a way that you can direct them to purchase these albums?
The album is available for pre-sale right now at pretendgallery.com.
Pretendgallery.com.
Pre-sales are 15% off. Album comes out, I think, March 17th.
Wonderful. You're so generous to us, generous to me. Thank you so much. Once again, this was Art to Art. Welcome to Art, where I have an in-depth conversation